Alright, in this video you're going to learn about responsive design. So far our site has been designed to fixed widths, and because it's fixed width it doesn't resize itself for smaller browser viewing windows. So if we were on a tablet or a smartphone, we'd only see part of the website and we'd have to scroll sideways to see things horizontally and scroll vertically. Now the vertical scrolling people are used to, but horizontal scrolling, this is not a good user experience. So what we can do is we can make it so our design is fluid and it'll redesign itself based upon the width of our browser window. And we call that responsive design. You might also hear the term fluid design. Okay, so we're going to continue to work on our About page, and we're going to change this from a fixed width design to fluid design. We're going to continue to work on the About page, so I'll go ahead and open that. And the first thing I'm going to add is a thing called the viewport. I'm going to do this just because it's a good habit to do right away. We're just going to add a new line for meta tags. And you can use the insert tool for this if you'd like. So let's see, if we find HTML, it's going to be any of these. I think it should be under HTML. We're going to look for viewport. When you find viewport, make sure you're on a blank line. You just click it and it'll add the viewport for you. Now this particular line of code is specific for mobile devices that have smaller viewing screens. And what you're essentially telling those devices is, hey, we've designed our website to be responsive. Please just take everything we got as we present it. So I essentially say our scale is going to be to a scale of 1 to 1. So keep everything the same. If we didn't have this, some mobile devices will try to interpret your regular design in order to accommodate for the mobile device. And in a lot of cases, it just means you're going to view the website on a really, really small scale. So you might be able to see the entire width of the website, but it's going to be very, very tiny. So by adding this viewport, we're telling it, now keep everything to the pixel dimensions we've got. We promise we've done our part to make this responsive. So that'll be the first thing that we add to our head tags. It has to be inside the head tags. Doesn't really matter where it is. Generally I put it a little bit lower, but it doesn't really matter where it goes. All right, so that's the first thing we're going to do. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to style the wrapper. We had put all of our content inside this div and given it an ID called wrapper. In our styles, that particular style, it was a custom style that we created for it. Where is it? Here it is. Made everything stay contained within 1,000 pixels. So all of this content stays inside of 1,000. Without that style, everything went out to the full edges of the browser window. So this will be a very simple fix. Instead of width 1,000 pixels, we're going to change this to max width. So that's one of the new CSS properties in CSS3, is we can set a max width. So with max width, we're saying, okay, it can get to 1,000 pixels, no larger, but it can be narrower. All right, so let's see what that does. We'll hit save and we'll refresh our website. So because I'm on a desktop larger than 1,000 pixels, initially I don't see any change. But now, as I go and I decrease the width of my browser window, you'll notice that the website is fluid now. And it'll change. However, I have parts of my content that are not fluid. For instance, this aside has a fixed width of 300, and this main has a fixed width of 680. There can be other things that are fixed width, such as these images, that also force these containers to stay a certain width, even if the container itself allows it to be 100% max width. Something inside still may have a fixed width, and so it's not fully fluid. All right, so you can see that our aside and our main are not fluid. Our nav, because we never set a fixed width for it, remains fluid by default. So let's go and change our main and our aside. And I think our footer was already, our footer was already fluid. We hadn't changed any fixed width for that. All right, so we'll change all of these things so that it works. All right, so let's go to our about or our main style. There it is. And you can see that we have a width of 680 pixels. Now there's really two different ways we could do this. One is I could set this to max width of 680 pixels. And then with my aside, I could change that also to max width 300 pixels. Let's hit save and let's see what that does. I'll hit refresh. And now we'll see that they shrink, but they still have a part where they don't quite come together. So right there, it hits, and then we still have the part going down below. Okay, there's another way we could have done this. Instead of 680%, we could have said, if I want those to both shrink at the same rate, I can change this to 68%. Now, I had done a total width of 1,000 pixels, so that makes the math really easy to figure out the percentage. So I know that 300 pixels is 30% of 1,000 pixels. That's how I was able to come up with those numbers. So 680 pixels is, or 68% is 600. And I could even write myself a comment. So if I know I want this to be 680 pixels, I just write myself a little note with a style comment. Just sort of a note to yourself, say, hey, what was I really going for here? So you can interpret why you came up with these numbers. So let's refresh that. Now the behavior changes. Now they both get smaller at the same time, which may be something I prefer. It just really depends. You'll have both options, but with this option, they both change and they'll always stay relative percentage size. So there's a time when in your design it's best to keep a percentage and a time when you want to use max width. In this case, I'm going to keep the percentage. I'm okay with it shrinking proportionately until it gets to a certain size. Now at some point, like right here, it starts getting weird. We'll fix that later in a different video with media queries. All right, but until then, we at least have our design to be fluid. So that's how we change from fixed width to fluid width in HTML and CSS.